What does BAE stand for?
Babe.
No, BAE stands for something.
I always thought it stood for babe.
Oh, you don't know this?
Too
No.
lazy to say babe.
What does BAE stand for? Before anyone else.
Oh, my goodness. God, please, if we ever date, don't call me bae.
You're talking to the public, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, God, I'm not talking to you.
I was like, what have you been? Have you been drinking today?
Not yet.
We don't drink on the air.
I don't drink that much.
Before anyone else.
I'm Misty.
And I'm Ike.
For the next 15 minutes,
We're going to debate pop culture.
my background's in music.
My background's in film.
I know the topics beforehand.
And I don't.
We check the internet for the facts.
And ruin it with opinions.
From pop rocks in your lunchbox.
To Happy Meal toys and swatch clocks. Hello, Misty.
Hello, Ike.
Are we still arch nemesis here on episode 48?
I think that if we were back in the 80s, we would have definitely probably stood on opposite sides of the bar.
Or we back to back in a fight against everyone in the bar. And we would have
It could've
broken
gone
beer
that-
bottles and stabbed people with them.
It would have been like Roadhouse.
Yeah.
God, what a great movie.
What a great movie.
Ugh.
What do you want to do today?
Patrick Swayze. I want to rock.
I want to rock.
Rock.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're in the middle of 80s hair metal week.
Yes, we are.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, we are. I'm wearing the same shirt I wore yesterday.
So am I.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
Because you know what? When you're an 80s rocker, you don't wash your clothes, bro.
They didn't have washers.
Or your hair.
I mean, there were like 10 of them living in an apartment.
That's what's up.
You know.
That's how you have to live in Los Angeles.
Like, do you know about the Motley House?
I do, because I've seen the dirt.
It's gross.
I don't know a lot about 80s hair metal, but I have seen the dirt.
Roach infested.
Yeah.
And
it burned a few times.
Yeah.
I've lived in places like that.
Me too, I think. So, yeah, I can't really judge.
Right. I want to say those days are over, so please join our Patreon.
Please join our Patreon
so we don't have to live
in
like
places
that.
like that.
We don't have one yet, but we might by the time this comes out.
I think that we will, because I think that this is something we probably have some great, epic, like, extra footage.
Since it is 80s Hair Metal Week, can I give a shout out to my good friend John Harden, who has a
yes,
dude. He's got
John
a podcast.
Harden.
He has a podcast called Middle Aged Metalheads.
Yep.
Please check it out. It's awesome. He talks about metal.
Yeah.
And heads.
And I think that we should probably give a shout out also to our friend Keith, who makes guitars.
Oh, Marvin Guitars.
Marvin Guitars.
Yes, he's sold some guitars to some metalheads. So
yeah.
One day this podcast will be brought to you by Marvin Guitars.
It will.
But my guitars aren't ready yet. One day they'll be hanging on the wall here.
Yes.
But enough about that. What do you want to do today? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, today's going to be... It's going to be the light and the dark.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I bring up a topic to you and you go, oh, so today's a bummer day.
Right.
So we're going to start it off with something that's a little heavier, but then we're going to end it on something light.
Okay.
Okay? So today is hair metal casualties and assists.
Okay.
So
Let me start the timer.
Do want to pay some respect that's due to some of our 80s hair metal heroes.
Got it.
That didn't make it.
Okay.
And at the end of this episode, I also want to pay respect to some of the ladies that assisted these men in becoming who they were.
Band-Aids.
Not necessarily Band-Aids, but
Okay.
you know, a lot of them had careers and whatnot all
Oh,
on their
yeah.
own.
A lot of them were at the top of their game, too.
And
Yeah.
they became hair metal power couples. Royalty. So
Hair metal
like I said,
hierarchy.
I'm calling it the assists.
Okay. Let's get into it. 15
Let's
minutes
get into it.
starts. My face recognition doesn't. Oh, there it is. Because of the hair. And meow.
All right. So I think probably the most famous of all of these casualties was a gentleman named Razzle Dingley, who was in a band called Hanoi Rocks. There was a incredibly tragic car accident in 1984 in the heyday of Motley Crue.
Right.
Vince Neil was hosting a Christmas party at his house, and he and Razzle left his house to go to the liquor store. And I believe that they possibly T-boned another car. And Vince made it out of the accident, but Razzle actually passed away in Vince's lap in the car.
Oh, That's heartbreaking.
And Razzle was known throughout the entire 80s hair metal community. You know, very lighthearted, great guy. So it was a big loss. But there's a list of these gentlemen that, you know, either while this heyday was going on or after, have some pretty tragic stories. So one of the bands that we really haven't talked a lot about yet is Rat.
Okay.
You know, famous for Round and Round.
Round and round.
Yeah. Robin Crosby from Rat actually died of AIDS.
Whoa.
One of the, you know, I mean, obviously this was an era of excess and sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Yeah.
And, you know, people weren't necessarily as informed as, you know, in the very beginning of this. And Robin was actually one of the first casualties of that.
Yeah. There's one that hits pretty close to home for you and people that you've worked with.
Yeah.
That also changed the way people rode on buses.
Absolutely. Cliff Burton from Metallica. And
1986, September 27th.
yeah, Cliff's story, it's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Do you know it? The story?
Just what I've read on the internet right now.
So
He was sleeping the wrong way on the bus, right?
No.
That's not right?
Nope. They were on a bus, and I cannot remember where it was. It was somewhere in Europe. And there was a certain bunk that nobody wanted to sleep in. And so they were playing a game on the bus, and whoever lost had to sleep in that bunk.
Really? What was the deal with that book? It was Sweden, by the way.
Sweden, that's right. I don't think they ever got into the details of why, but it ended up being Cliff that lost the game.
Ooh.
And slept in that bunk.
Do the guys ever talk about it?
No, not really.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Apparently, I mean, the bus driver has claimed for many, many years that they hit black ice.
Mm-hmm.
The bus wrecked and flipped, and from my understanding, Cliff was still alive, and they were attempting to try to get him out of the bus after it rolled, and were just not able, and he passed away. But they have the band themselves have paid a lot of respect to Cliff.
Yeah.
Since then, they do a lot of really interesting things in honor of Cliff. So, and I had the just incredible opportunity to meet Cliff's family.
Oh, really?
Times. And his
That's
dad,
cool.
who I think passed away maybe last year, was quite possibly one of my favorite humans that I've ever met on this entire planet. Like 90 some years old and still coming to shows to see the boys and loving rock and roll, and just proud to death that his son was a part of it.
Yeah. Proud
to death. Oof.
Interesting choice.
Interesting choice of words.
Who's next on your list?
I only have a couple because, like I said, I don't want to I understand we need to talk about the good with the bad, but I feel like this week is a lighthearted, fun week, so I don't want to bring it all down. Mm-hmm. So,
how about
Tim Kelly from Slaughter?
Okay.
A head-on accident in 1988, and Steve Clark from Def Leppard in 91. I believe it was an overdose. Bon Scott from AC/DC.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
And Randy Rhoads.
Okay.
From Ozzy in 82. And then the last one that I think actually happened most recently was Janie Lane, the lead singer of Warrant, in 2011.
Wow. This also says Randy Rhoads was in Quiet Riot too.
I believe it was the beginning, one of the, in the beginning phase of Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
The initial.
Well, I have one that's kind of a segue between.
Let's do it. I like segues.
The deaths and then the assists.
Yeah.
Nikki Sixx died a few times.
A couple times.
More than once. And was brought back to life.
Pretty incredible, right?
To then get assisted.
Nikki Sixx was dead for a full 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 full minutes before they were able to kickstart his heart.
That's a joke about lyrics.
That's what inspired that song.
Oh, wow. That's funny, man.
Right? Isn't that great?
That's super great.
They literally had to, very Pulp Fiction style, plunge the adrenaline needle into his heart and kickstart his heart. Do you want to know what he did when he got out of the hospital from that?
Write a song?
He went home and shot up.
Oh, wow. That's insane.
If you ever want, if you're ready for a heavy read, you should read the Heroin Diaries.
I don't know if I could. I mean,
it's, you know what? I actually listened to it on audiobook, which
Really?
made it a lot more interesting because you can, obviously hear the tone in Nikki's voice, and there are other people that pop in and out of it, and it's pretty great actually because he has really turned his life around since then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
I think he's working on writing another book right now. So, Nikki Sixx, good one. Died a few times. Back with us.
Welcome back, Nikki.
Now, the assists.
Yeah.
So, Nikki had some interesting assists.
I bet. Yes, he did.
Miss Donna D'Errico from Baywatch fame.
Man, you know how much I like Baywatch.
I know.
I like watching those bays.
How we can segue all this in together.
You got to keep a close eye on those bays. You got to watch them.
Oh, what a dad joke. But a good one.
But
a good one.
I was tying in the new way the kids say bay. Like
I get
yeah,
it.
okay.
I get it. I'm
Doesn't
old.
bay
I'm not that old.
What's bay stand for?
Babe.
No, BAE stands for something.
I always thought it stood for babe.
Oh, you don't know this?
Too
No.
lazy to say babe.
What does BAE
Bay.
stand for? Before anyone else.
Oh, my goodness. God, please, if we ever date, don't call me bae.
You're talking to the public, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, God, I'm not talking to you.
I was like, what have you been? Have you been drinking today?
Not yet.
We don't drink on the air
Don't drink that much.
before
anyways.
anyone else.
Who were some of the other great assists?
Man, one that comes to mind, which would be my top. So I'm not going to start with my top. I'll start with my second favorite.
Okay.
Heather Locklear is number 3.
Heather Locklear. What a smoke show.
Carmen Electra, number 2.
Okay.
And then the number 1 by like eons and light years and on a pedestal of her own. No one can ever touch her for as long as history will ever exist.
I know what you're going to say.
The Pamela Anderson.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I would have possibly maybe agreed with you until she dated Kid Rock.
Listen.
You can't go back from that.
Anything after 2000 doesn't count.
Okay. Fair. All right.
Once Baywatch was over.
Okay.
Anything that happened during Baywatch, cool.
Okay.
But you can't hold her responsible for.
Well, how did
at the time, Kid Rock was like doing pretty well for himself.
How did you?
I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm defending Kid Rock on our show right now.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Ba with the ba.
Okay. Well, tell me how you felt about Carmen Electra. Obviously, another one of your Baywatch babes.
Yeah.
Bays. After Dennis Rodman.
Well, after recently watching the new Bulls documentary that Jordan put out, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
She was a great assister to the Rod man.
she was a sister.
She's an assistant to
who
the
did
Rod,
Carmen,
man.
Yeah. Who did Carmen date from 80's hair metal world?
I don't know. Oh, Navarro.
Okay.
What metal band was he in before he did Jane's Addiction?
Look it up.
Come on, folks.
Educate the masses.
I don't know. I expected you to know. I don't know.
I don't know. I
What
don't know.
was Dave Navarro's
Jane's Addiction.
first band? Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
93 to 98,
Yeah.
Navarro joined Red Hot Chili Peppers in September 93. He had to be in something before that, though.
Why did he have to be?
Because you don't just go
early 20s.
You're not just some guy and then you get in the Red Hot Chili
you're a
Peppers.
session guitar player all over Hollywood.
All right, well,
Going to auditions.
we could just look up his biography and see what really.
I'm gonna look up who Carmen Electra dated.
Wow. His paternal grandparents immigrated from Mexico. His mother, Constance, was a model and worked on Let's Make a Deal in 1963.
Cool.
After his parents
That's like
divorced.
Slash's mom.
Yeah.
Like Slash's mom was a costumer.
Dude, Dave and his mom, after their parents got divorced, moved to Bel Air. He's
Like Fresh Prince.
Yes.
I kind of love that.
Wow. Oh. Moved to Bel Air and lived with her until she was murdered in March 1983 by her boyfriend.
I remember listening to him
Whoa.
on a podcast talk about that, actually. Yeah.
He was eventually caught thanks to the help of America's Most Wanted, America Fights Back in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Huh.
So.
I'm sorry, folks. I just went down a rabbit hole there.
Okay, so Pamela Anderson obviously dated Tommy Lee.
Oh, yep. We've all seen what they can do to each other.
Heather Locklear was married to Tommy Lee before that.
Right. Luckiest man in the world.
Heather Locklear then married Richie Sambora
Yep.
of Bon Jovi.
That's right.
For many years. So very much a little tradesies going on.
Little
here.
double dates.
Right?
Yep.
But I feel like we're definitely forgetting about Bobby Brown
Right. Who we referenced
in the last episode.
Monday.
Bobby Brown was the video girl for Cherry Pie by Warrant and then ended up marrying Janie Lane. I believe that she also had some other significant 80s hair metal relationships.
So let me get this straight. She was on the album of Warrant's Cherry Pie, and then they put her in the video?
Yeah, I think so.
Which came first?
I don't know.
Usually, I mean, in these days, I don't know how they did it in the 80s, but now we usually shoot the first single video 3 months before the album release because the single is released before the album is released. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that was a standard back in the 80s as well. So,
I don't know. I wasn't around. I wouldn't.
But her face
not
isn't
that
really prevalent in the album artwork, but neither is her face in the video.
Oh, her face. She's all over the video.
I
mean,
she was
other
cast
parts of her are also in the video, but her face.
But she's
is in
looking
the video.
down in the album artwork.
You know, we also are forgetting to pay respect where it is due for another huge video vixen.
Who did we forget?
Tawny Katane.
Whoa.
Sliding around on the top of the Camaro for Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Here I go again on my own.
Right.
Although David Coverdale, also one of those guys that was like, we are not a hair metal band.
Yeah.
But they fit into that mold in that era.
Can we
give Tawny Katane, man, she was it.
Special shout out to our friends in Bowling for Soup out of Texas who did a shot-for-shot replica of that video, including the car. I want to say they got Tawny to do the video.
I don't remember.
I'm looking it up.
But I would not be surprised. Sounds like something very, very much. How much time do we have left? Because there are a couple of things that I want to throw in here, but I want to make sure that we don't.
70 seconds.
Okay. I want to make sure that we also pay all due respect because all that we have talked about this whole time are the men in these bands and the band aids or wives or whatever.
Yeah, what are some dudes?
What? No. What?
That aided the women in music.
Let's talk about, there are two that literally just like two chick type things. We had Lita Ford, who was such a kick-ass representation during this time.
Right. She
came from the Runaways, parlayed that into a solo career. She also had a relationship with Nikki Sixx for some years.
Okay.
Lita's still out there kicking ass playing music.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. And there was a girl 80s hair metal band. They were named Vixen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting.
Who could play just as hard as the boys in a world that was not at that time meant for them to be on stage playing at all.
And there comes the slaps.
And there's the slaps.
Any bonus time today?
I don't think so. I think that wraps that episode up.
It sure does.
With a pretty bright red lipstick bow.
Man, where do we go from here?
There's more.
Yeah, 2 more days.
Yeah, there's more. And there's bangers.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of it, guys. Leave us a comment and tell us who your favorite sister was.
Sister.
Male or female. If there
Yeah.
was some dude from like Thunder Down Under that was assisting Vixen back in the
I
day,
think
like
Nikki
get for it.
Sixx assisted Lita Ford.
Yeah. So tell us who your best assist is, or maybe tell us you assisted somebody. I don't know.
Oh.
Get dirty in the DMs, bro. Not the DMs, the comments.
Wow, there's a lot going on.
There is. I get.
It's not Friday.
It's not Friday. Please continue to watch our show. And special thanks to all of our new friends that joined in the last couple weeks from various different countries. We're really, really happy to have you, and we love that all of you watch our show. Now we need you to share it, because those who share the most this week get the poster signed on the back by us.
Okay.
So share it up on Facebook and YouTube, and if it's not Friday,
We'll see you tomorrow.